and it's around about 175 rounds on beats daily. And for us, it is even difficult to chant 16 rounds. That is why Haridas Thakur is a Namacharya. We find in Chaitanya Charitamrit information that both Lord Chaitanya and Haridas Thakur were constantly absorbed in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. I am Pooja from City. May I know who have joined today?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam. This is Jai Srila Prabhupada. This is Manidhar Das.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining the call.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all the devotees on the call. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai. This is Rupini Padma Devi Dasi from Orlando, Florida.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining the call. Hare Krishna devotees, today we are so fortunate to have His Grace RamGiridhari Prabhuji from Mumbai, and today Prabhuji will enlighten us on Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 6, Chapter 11, verse 22. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Please take over the call.
Hare Krishna, Dandavats. It's always a pleasure to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam in the Association of Vaishnavas, and I'm always very happy that this service is being continuously and without any stop. This is being done. So all glories to all the devotees who are behind this. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 11, text number 22, the chapter titled The Transcendental Qualities of Vritrasura. Pumsam kilaikanta diyam swakanam yasam padodi vibhumau rasayam narati yadvesha udvega adhir madakalir vyasanam samprayasa. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. Persons who fully surrender at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and always think of His lotus feet are accepted and recognized by the Lord as His own personal assistants or servants. The Lord never bestows upon such servants the brilliant opulences of the upper, lower, and middle planetary systems of this material world. When one possesses material opulence in any of these three divisions of the universe, his possessions naturally increase his enmity, anxiety, mental agitation, pride, and belligerence. Thus, one goes through much endeavor to increase and maintain his possessions, and he suffers great unhappiness when he loses them. Purport by His Divine Grace. In Bhagavad Gita 4.11, the Lord says, Yayata mam prapadyante tams tataiva bhajamyaham mama vartamano vartante manushya partha sarvasaha. As devotees surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. Both Indra and Vritrasura were certainly devotees of the Lord. Although Indra took instructions from Vishnu to kill Vritrasura, the Lord was actually more favorable to Vritrasura because after being killed by Indra's thunderbolt, Vritrasura would go back to Godhead. Whereas the victorious Indra would rot in this material world. Because both of them were devotees, the Lord awarded them the respective benedictions they wanted. Vritrasura never wanted material possessions, for he knew very well the nature of such possessions. To accumulate material possessions, one must labor very hard. And when he gets them, he creates many enemies because this material world is always full of rivalry. If one becomes rich, his friends or relatives are envious. For Ekanta Bhaktas, unalloyed devotees, Krishna therefore never provides material possessions. A devotee sometimes need some material possessions for preaching, but the possessions of a preacher are not like those of a karmi. A karmi's possessions are achieved as a result of karma, but those of a devotee are arranged by the Supreme Personality of Godhead just to facilitate his devotional activities. Because a devotee never uses material possessions for any purpose other than the service of the Lord, the possessions of a devotee are not to be compared to those of a karmi. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namaham Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Pumsam Tilaikanta Diyam Swakanam Yasam Padodi Vibhumau Rasayam Naradi Advesha Udvegadir Madakalir Vyasanam Samprayasaham. Persons who fully surrender at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and always think of his lotus feet are accepted and recognized by the Lord as his own personal assistants or servants. The Lord never bestows upon such servants the brilliant opulences of the upper, lower, and middle planetary systems of his material world. When one possesses material opulence in any of these three divisions of the universe, his possessions naturally increase his enmity, anxiety, mental agitation, pride, and belligerence. Thus, one goes through much endeavor to increase and maintain his possessions, and he suffers great unhappiness when he loses them. So, thank you so much again. So, we are discussing from 6th canto, 11th chapter, text number 22. This verse is spoken by Vritrasura. Srimad Bhagavatam is very special because of the kind of pastimes that devotees discuss and leave behind several sets of instructions for us. So one of the special pastimes is this Vritrasura's pastime. The current context is where Vritrasura and Indra are facing face to face, one on one. All the support systems, all the soldiers of Vritrasura are running away, leaving Vritrasura alone. So, when Vritrasura was alone, he didn't get perturbed. Rather, he is having a very intelligent conversation with Indra. The whole Vritrasura's episode, right from the beginning, from the very first instance of Indra disrespecting his guru, all the way till Vritrasura going back home, back to Godhead, there are significant set of lessons that Srimad Bhagavatam gives us. We will only limit ourselves to the current context and as always, churn this context through some sets of reflections. There are good number of reflections that we can churn out from this particular purport. Within our available time, we will try to limit to few of them. The very first reflection is, what is seen as success from the normal materialistic perspective is considered as a failure in Krishna conscious perspective. What is seen as success in Krishna consciousness perspective is not seen as success in materialistic surroundings. It is explained that even though Vritrasura is going to be killed at the end of this war between Indra and Vritrasura, Indra has got the thunderbolt, Indra has got the necessary weapon, and Indra has got the verdict of the Supreme Lord. Dadichi Muni has given his bones. So many people's sahyog, support, Indra got. So, Indra is going to be victorious is a news that he knew before. So, Prabhupada explains that Indra winning the war, by winning the war, he is losing on in the net result. And by Vritrasura losing the war is winning in the net result. In our materialistic existence, we are always after success, money, name, fame, power, position, followers, so on and so forth. Which Dhritarashtra is saying that all those success will only give enmity, anxiety, agitation, pride, and belligerence. Dukkhalayam asashvatam. The nature of this materialistic world is such that everything that is available here can only give these 5 things. Dvesha, Udvega, Adihi, Madaha, and Kalihi. It may apparently appear that we are winning the battle, we are trying to gain something in the beginning, but at the end it's a failure. As they say, operation success, patient died. So our first reflection is about the perception of success for a practicing devotee. Because many a times when we are neither too much into materialistic life, when we are slowly progressing in our spiritual life, we need to get some basics correct. And the basics are, what are we looking for in Krishna consciousness? How do we recognize our progress in Krishna consciousness? How do we consider ourselves that we have accomplished something in spiritual life? The same yardstick by which a person's materialistic happiness is measured is not that with which we measure spiritual happiness. Bilvamangala Thakura is singing a very nice song. Praje prasiddham navanita choram gopangananam cha tukula choram aneka janmarjita papa choram choragraganyam purusham namami choragraganyam purusham namami. He's telling that, my dear Krishna, you are the foremost of thieves. You have stolen the gopis' clothes, and all those who surrender unto you, you steal all the sins they have committed for lifetimes. And you turn your surrendered devotees into paupers and wandering homeless beggar. Akinchani kritya padashritam yam karoti bhikshum patigehinam kenapyaho bhishana choraidrik drishna shruto vana jagatrayepi choragraganyam purusham namami. You make the surrendered devotees into paupers and wandering homeless beggar. This is confirmed by Kunti Maharani in her prayers. Anyone who surrenders to Adokshaja, anyone who surrenders to the Supreme Lord, anyone who glorifies Krishna, she's saying the net result is Akinchana Gochara. He will be eventually become bereft of all the material opulences. So our first reflection in this current context is, as a practicing devotee, we definitely need to understand whether we are able to assimilate this at this point in time. Probably yes, probably no, depends upon our Shraddha. But the fact of life is, if you surrender to Krishna, he actually takes away all those things from us, because of which you don't remember him. If that is your wife, if that is your husband, if that is your children, if that is your money, if that is your resources, that is your job, that is your house, that is your whatever that is. The moment you tell Krishna, Karagrahe vasasade hridaye madiye madbhakti pasha dridabandhana nischalasan Tvam Krishna he pralaya koti satantarepi sarvasya chora hridayan nahi mochayami. The moment you tell Krishna, my dear Krishna, for all the sins for all the thievery you have done, you have stolen our sins, you have made us paupers, you have made us wandering beggars, you have stolen our heart, you have stolen Gopi's clothes, you have stolen the butter. For all the thievery that you have done, we are going to give you punishment. I am going to give you punishment. Bilumangala Thakura says. What punishment he is going to give? Karagrahe vasasade hridaye madiye. I am going to bind you. Mad bhakti pasha dhrida bandhana nischalasan. In the core of my heart, which is not a normal place, which is the darkest and stinkiest place. It's a dirty place. I am going to drag you into that dark region of my heart. Madbhakti pasha tridabandhana nischalasan. I'm going to bind you. Tvam Krishna he pralaya koti satantarepi. Not 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. For millions of years, you are going to be arrested in that heart. Tvam Krishna he pralaya koti satantarepi sarvasva chaura hridayan nahi mochayami. How much ever you plead, I am not going to release you. I am going to bite you in the heart, Krishna. This is an interesting way of glorifying the Lord. Interesting way of expressing how much I love the Lord. Interesting way of saying, how Krishna, you are mine. I am yours. You take away everything of mine. No problem. Take away my wealth. Take away my beauty. Take away my intelligence. Take away my resources. Take away my family. Take away everything. No problem. But you are mine. So success of Krishna consciousness is that a person who surrenders unto the Supreme Lord, he needs to know that he is not under the regular administrative arrangement of the Lord. The devotee of the Lord is under direct care of the Supreme Lord. We don't like to hear these discussions when we say that we will lose money, we will, lose things. For that, we are going to have furthermore reflections. Srila Prabhupada says that it is not necessarily that devotees have to be beggars only. But the point I'm trying to drive home is, what is defined as material success? What is defined from the purview of materialistic, life is not the same yardstick in spirituality. So, in spirituality, you are given much, much more glorious, eternal, transcendental results proportionate to our surrender. Yeyatam mam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyam. So in the sense, by Vritrasura failing, being killed by Indra, he is successful. By a devotee continuously facing challenges, apparently, like the devotees in Vrindavan Dham, by them missing Krishna, by Krishna not being visible in front of them, they are more blessed because of their remembrance and their attachment towards the Supreme Lord has intensified multi-folded times. Srila Prabhupada writes in one place, I'm not sure if it is in Teachings of Queen Kunti or Teachings of Lord Kapila somewhere. In one of the purports or one of the lectures, Prabhupada says, my business was going on very well. I was in Calcutta, my business was going very well. One fine day, I saw everything being, falling apart. Everything was collapsing. I wasn't sure what was going on. And few months later, I was already executing the orders of my spiritual master. So I used to always tell this to my students. If you are chanting very nicely, sincerely, if you are serving Guru and Gauranga very nicely, sincerely, if you are giving Krishna consciousness to others without any pride and, prestige, but still, if you are put through some challenging situations, some apparently difficult situations, some apparently distressful situations, remember very clearly that Krishna wants us to learn something. Krishna wants us to go through a process. Krishna wants to take control of ourselves. Because it is impossible for the Lord. It is impossible for the Lord to let us suffer. If any suffering, apparent suffering that comes your way, it is nothing but surgery is happening to us. Every surgery is for a cure. And only a stupid person will think that surgery is giving me pain. Surgery may give us apparent pain, but actually surgery is for curing the pain. Through the process of pain, eventually we get cured. Similarly, in Krishna consciousness, when we surrender to the Supreme Lord, when we are able to, glorify the Supreme Lord, when we are able to participate in the service of the Supreme Lord, but still if you are facing apparent so-called failures, we need not worry. We are very well under the protection of the Supreme Lord. It is impossible for the Lord to let us down. That is why great personalities, great sadhus, they don't hanker after so-called material power, name, fame, position, followers, accolades. When Digvijay Pandit came to Rupa Goswami path, Rupa Goswami in 2 seconds responded saying that I declare that you are the winner, that I agree my defeat to you. Because he knew the purpose of this debate and discussion the Digvijay Pandit has come to him, has no spiritual agenda. So, hence my first reflection is that please know, when you surrender to Krishna, you get Krishna Prem and Krishna's love and Krishna's personal care. We will not get material prosperity. Even if you try, even if you want, Krishna will fix that. The idea is that how Krishna is going to fix it is part of the second reflection. Suppose, for example, a devotee is very much interested and presenting Krishna consciousness to a larger audience, taking Krishna to everyone, leading a very sincere, bona fide life. And in his endeavors, he is falling short of certain resources. Krishna will provide those resources. So that is what Prabhupada writes in the fag end of the purport. A karmi's possessions are achieved as a result of karma, but those of a devotee are arranged by the Supreme Personality of Godhead just to facilitate his devotional activities. Because a devotee never uses material possessions for any purpose other than the service of the Lord, the possessions of a devotee are not to be compared to those of a karmi. So Krishna says that in general, everything that a devotee is getting, everything that a devotee is losing, it is in my control, it's my portfolio. Ananyas chintayanto man yejana pakyupashate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vagamyam. I provide what my devotee lacks. I protect what he has. Meaning, anything that a devotee possesses that will be useful for his devotion, Krishna protects them. And if Krishna finds something that is not going to be useful, Krishna is helping us to stay away from that. So my second reflection is hence that a devotee, when he is practicing Krishna consciousness, can he desire to become rich, famous, powerful, work towards it? The answer is associated with the question. The question is, why? And if the answer is, it is for fulfilling the orders of my spiritual master, glorifying the Supreme Lord, then why not? As much as we need, we will get. Srila Prabhupada says that I had 40 rupees when I left India. Now, look at what Krishna has given to me. So if I am committed to the mission of my spiritual master, if I am committed to the service of the Supreme Lord, if I am committed to glorify the Harinam, Sankirtan and its processes, and in that service, if I need any resources, a devotee can work for it. The devotee will be facilitated with such a support system that is required. So my second reflection is that yes, a devotee is absolutely okay to have all the riches, all the wealth, all the happiness, all the fame, and he will know how to dovetail it in Krishna's service. The moment or few instances we have seen where a devotee or a practicing person desired for something personal. In the case of Indra, Indra is also a devotee. Vritrasura is also a devotee. Prabhupada writes, Indra only got materialistic world, but Vritrasura went back home, back to Godhead. Why? Because Indra thought for some time, let me enjoy these material possessions. Let me enjoy this material power. Let me enjoy this material followers. That is why Krishna consciousness is not a part of our life. Not just part of our life. Krishna consciousness is the way of living. So if we all think that Krishna consciousness is only some portion of our day, morning Mangalarti to Bhagavatam class and Prasadam. After that, I am a normal man. I am going to work in the corporate world. Then evening, I am a family man. And in the night, I am going around with friends. So I have my compartments in a day. That's not how devotional life works. A devotee is 24/7, is Krishna conscious. Wherever he goes, Grihe tako bane tako, sada hari bole nako, suke duke bhulo nako, vadane hari naam koro re gai, gaura madhur sware. Suke dakor, duke dakor, sada hari bole dakor, grihe dakor bane dakor. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that no situation is a different situation for a devotee. Sukha, dukkha, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi, whatever stage may be, a devotee is always a devotee. So it's not that, like as sadhakas, right now we are leading a compartmental life with multiple personality disorder. Because we are morning Mangalarti or whenever we are in front of our spiritual master, we are in the transcendental state of Krishna consciousness. When we are with our corporate friends, we have other personality within us comes up. When we are with our, so-called friends and society members, some other personality in us, wakes up. But that's not how a devotee functions. Hence, my second reflection is that in a devotee's life, opulences are welcome. Money is welcome. The word nadanam, najanam, nasundarim, kavitam, vachakatisha kamaye, mama janmani janmanishware, bhavatat bhakti rahitu ki tvahi. This prayer is to say that is not my goal. My goal is Krishna. And generally I've been told these are all obstacles. Dhanam, janam, sundarim, kavitam, these are all general obstacles. As Vritrasura is explaining, as Prabhupada explains, for Ekanta Bhaktas, Prabhupada writes in the purport, unalloyed devotees, Krishna therefore never provides material possessions. So, why? Because that is not their focal point. Lakshmi Devi is telling, anyone who wants to enjoy me without my Prabhu, I will become Chanchala to them. We will become Ravana. Because Ravana didn't want Rama, he wanted only Sita Mata. Similarly, anyone who wants to enjoy, who wants to welcome Lakshmi to their home. There are people, foolish followers of religious beliefs. They keep the picture of Lakshmi's picture where Lakshmi is from her hand, lots of money are, outpouring. They will not keep Krishna fighting in the Mahabharata war. They will not keep Krishna playing the flute. Their argument is that Krishna, by playing the flute, he will blow things away in my house. By having this fighting Bharata Sarthi, there will be fight in our family. I am okay with the butter Krishna, Gopinath Krishna. And I want Lakshmi with money outpouring because money will come my way. This is all stupidity par excellence. If Krishna has to blow our things away, he need not come in the form of a picture in our house. He can just play a beautiful notes in his flute. We are finished. So hence my second reflection is to say that the success of our acquiring opulences, resources, even if it be, as Prabhupada writes, a devotee sometimes needs some material possessions for preaching. But the possessions of a preacher are not like those of a karmi. In Alachua, 2018 June, if I'm right, I was there for our education conference from the Ministry of Education. So during that time, one Prabhupada disciple or maybe one devotee by name Emaraj Das, if I'm right, he was BTG's photographer. So he passed away. So there was a Smriti ceremony remembering him and his services. So one of the glorifications they were, mentioning about Prabhu was he is such a wonderful devotee that he never had anything for him as his possessions. He simply had 2 sets of clothes and a very simple living, a simple bedding, a simple kitchen setup, everything was way too minimalistic living. I'm not sure how many of you have got association with His Holiness Hanumat Preshik Maharaj. I have the good fortune of regularly getting Maharaj's association, and I've lived in his ashram. A way too humble, simple Vaishnava he is. He does not have more possessions. He, whenever he travels overseas, he comes with one set that he's wearing and one extra set for changing. And very simple life, very simple for his possessions. And at the Smriti Sabha, they were glorifying. But when it came to his service as a photographer for Back to God magazine, he had all the sophisticated equipments, high-tech computers, high-tech camera, high-tech lenses, everything high-tech. So what it communicates, it was very moving when I heard this offering. In our devotional life, we are not against to have possessions. We have a problem when we associate with those possessions as yours. Now the third reflection, and probably the last one, Srimad Bhagavatam explains, when a devotee is acquiring certain opulences, how should he conduct himself? So let's talk about the money part, because money is honey. So it is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, a person who earns money through his personal endeavors should utilize them in the following ways, without which the money that he has earned will be the cause of his suffering. Like how in Chitraketu's pastime, Harsha Shoka was born, and when he was told, Chitraketu was told that this son will be the cause of your suffering, Chitraketu's intelligence was blind at that time because he couldn't comprehend why the Rishi is saying, after all, my son will be a naughty one, will not listen to my words. But he is still my son. He may take away all the money. All the money is for him. So his calculation of, what could be the problem was absolutely, different than what has actually happened. When the child died, then Chitraketu started lamenting and remembering all the words that Narada Muni and Saubri Muni told. And eventually he took the advice of Narada Muni and finally got the darshan of Sankarshna. And that Chitraketu is eventually becoming Vritrasura. You will see that after Vritrasura's departure, there is going to be discussion on the flashback. Who actually Vritrasura is, why he had to become Vritrasura. It's another story by itself. But the point is very simple. Better understand, take the advice of Bhagavatam on certain matters. Otherwise, we will become examples for somebody else. Better take example from others' life and fix our life. Otherwise, we will have to be quoted for somebody else's, life. And what does Bhagavatam says? If a person is earning his money, he has to spend, number one, for worshipping Supreme Personality of Godhead. Number two, to give in charity, welcome Vaishnavas to their houses. Spiritual master and Vaishnavas to our house and serve them. 3, give in charity to the needy, poor people. Number 4, take care of poor animals, cattle. And number 5, please look after your dependents. After doing this, when anybody is spending the money in this manner, in this category, the money will not be a cause of his bondage. But if anybody starts to think, Tera mujhko arpan jai jagadish hai, everything belongs to you is actually mine. If somebody keeps that propensity, that is the Ravana mentality. So hence the third reflection and the last one is that a devotee should know how to utilize the resources that has come his way. Our dearest Ambarish Prabhu, over here in Mumbai, we have few wealthy businessmen who are devotees, who are doing wonderful service for the preaching mission. There's a devotee by name Krishna Chandra Prabhu. He's a very big businessman. He's serving Radha Gopinath temple. There is to be a devotee by name Srinadji Prabhu, who has got a business background. The entire family has dedicated for the preaching mission. Like there are so many businessmen, so many wealthy people. They have set an example. The example of Ambarish Maharaj. It's not an ordinary example. And Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita the example of Janaka Maharaj. Purijan Prabhu, when he's explaining very nicely that there was a time where the brahmacharis, there was a Bhagavatam class going on, and when Janaka Maharaj was in the Bhagavatam class, and suddenly a messenger came and said, my dear king, there's a problem in your city or in your province. So in the middle of the Bhagavatam class, Janaka Maharaj had to go. But in another instance, so when he was going, all the other members, they said, look at him, he is not attentive to Bhagavatam class, he is attached to worldly things. But when these brahmacharis, when they got to know that the cowpins were under fire, when their ashram was under fire, they were under a lot of distress. So it is explained that a person who is not worried about his personal belongings, personal things, is always attaching himself to the Supreme Lord's service. He is leading by his example and actually be the recipient of the Lord's mercy. So, in this current context, Vritrasura is encouraging all of us to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Because lotus feet of the Supreme Lord is not an ordinary place, as demigods glorify in the second chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto. They say the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord is like a boat which can help us cross over the ocean of nescience. And what does that boat does? Rather than traversing, the boat shrinks the size of the ocean, the size of the calf's hoof print. Prabhupada gives a masterstroke explanation and purport there. The point is the Lord's lotus feet. Surrendering to the Lord's lotus feet. Clasping the Lord's lotus feet is the ultimate aim of our life. It is not easily achieved, but one should work hard, repeatedly, keep on trying, desiring, associating, and trying to perform the operation, surgical operation within ourselves, and try to cut the knots. We will be able to get the necessary classification, as Vritrasura is explaining. You will not be put in the general class. You will have a special class. Krishna operates on a specific protocol. I have several times discussed in this forum. Krishna is highly impartial. He is neutral to everyone, but he is impartially partial. He does not, differentiate. But when it comes to his devotees, he has a specific soft corner. So let us strive hard, rise up to become the devotee of the Supreme Lord by surrendering unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. In that way, we will be able to cross over this ocean of nescience and eventually quit this cycle of birth and death. Ashraddha danaha purusha dharmasyasya parantapa aprapyamam nivartante mrityu samsara vartmani. So we had 3 sets of reflections, and all these 3 reflections are helping us. The real success of a practicing devotee is different from what a materialistic person thinks. And even if a practicing devotee is desiring for materialistic opulence and acquire them, they should not be seen as his materialistic attachment. And those who have got the result, those who have got the materialistic opulence or the necessary opulence, which is not seen as materialistic, they are given to them by the Supreme Lord for his preaching mission. Thank you so much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. If there are any questions, comments, reflections, I will be happy to respond. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all grace to Prabhupada. It was such a nice class. He's harping on the very fundamental thing that we need to imbibe, that everything material is temporary. And I was thinking of that words also, like when we were speaking about that our purpose is to get rid of all the entanglement. यही संस्पर्श जब होगा दुख जो नहीं होते आद्य अंतवंतम को नौते शुरमते बुधा. So as a Buddha, as an intelligent, we should think that these are all temporary. It will come and go. And then I was also thinking about that verse. I think it's Rishabhadeva speaks. Okay, no, I think it is Prahlad Maharaj. Nuna pramatta kurute vikarma yatindravrata atmano yam nasadu vanne naivarati sorry nasadu vanne atmano yam asana kleshada asha deha. One after another is getting kleshada deha. So, but still the people are nunam kurbe pramatta. They kurute vikarma. All they are doing keeping on doing vikarma. So this is like a great reflections that these materialistic attachments or pursuit of materialistic thing that atyahara prayasascha, and that's a lot of people prayas doing prayas, and Krishna says that and then further in the Srimad Bhagavatam, sorry, Krishna Vasa, I forgot, says that I think towards the beginning, that I was thinking about that also. Kamasya Nindri Priti Lava Jivata Yavata. The purpose of our life is to keep body and soul together. The remaining part is all about serving the Lord, so we can get out of this cycle and birth. So many lifetimes in so many species, 8.4 million species, we have gone through the same eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Never done anything beyond that, is still suffering. So it's very nice verse. The three reflections also are very nice. Thinking about that one, akama sarvakam moksha kamam dharati tivrena bhakti yagana yaja purusham. So whatever position we are in, maybe we are opulent, fair enough, but we should always use it for the you are nicely saying second and third reflection. So that is and also trying for Krishna. Yes, I mean, yat karoshi yadasnoshi. So nice, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you for
Thank you.
guidance.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. All worship.
Nice.
Any other thoughts, comments, reflections?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Madanat Pranam to you, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Such a nice class. Although I'm not well, I got a little cold and cough. Weather is changing, but it was so nice to hear your class. And especially you mentioned a point that, everything, not that in the morning we do the program and then forget about, just like Krishna consciousness should be for the whole day. So that's very important. And although I'm not at that point, but still I'm trying to, I know I heard some devotees say that even when they're resting, they pray to Krishna that just give us enough sleep so next day we can get up, and have this body working. So completely life is dedicated to Krishna only. So sleep, work, everything. So yeah. Thank you so much
Yes.
for the.
Yes.
Although it is not easy because sometimes in our memory we forget Krishna during the day. Sometime we get busy in some things. We are obviously we are under the control of the three modes of material nature, and then later on again the realization comes. And but it is not easy, Prabhuji. That's the thing.
But with Krishna's help, Prabhupada says that with Krishna's help, we will be able to, cross this line. And Krishna is definitely, it is like a small child may not know, but if the child is holding the parent's hand, the child will be able to cross the road easily without meeting any accident. So let's hold on to the hands and feet of Vaishnavas. And Prabhupada says, hold on to my dhoti. I will know the shortcut way to take you to Krishna. So I guess we have the answer for all the problems. So let's keep doing it. And I'm sure one day we will be able to make it to the spiritual world. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. We can end the session. There are other questions.
Thank you, Prabhuji. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धु एव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, हिज ग्रेस राम गिरधारी प्रभु जी की जय. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.